Well, what do you know? This Phillies team, man. This Phillies team, they don't make a lick of sense. They really don't. I know I posted in, the chat feed and all that stuff earlier today, well, in the community feed and all that stuff, that I was probably not going to recap tonight's game just because I hit a very big wall of tiredness over the course of the past 24 hours, and I just felt very tired today. And I was like, okay, whatever happens in tonight's game, probably not going to recap it, and it'll be the case. And it looked like today was just going to be a stinker, like I thought it was going to be going into it, because just from the implications, also because it's the Phillies, because you had a 7:15 game last night, got to travel overnight. Obviously, you're not getting in until probably the late stages of the morning in Milwaukee. Not getting set up and all that stuff until the late morning. You have an afternoon game at 3 o'clock Milwaukee time, so just had all the makings of a scheduled loss. And like I also throw in the Phillies being the Phillies because, of course, that would be a game they would probably not try to lose. They would probably lose. And I just, in the beginning of the game, it really felt like that because they were not touching Mizorowski, and Taiwan Walker was not good. Taiwan Walker was not good, obviously, and it just felt like it was going to be a dud, and it didn't turn out to be that way. Bryce Harper gets a home run that makes it 4-1. Milwaukee eventually gets another one to make it 5-1. Then the offense keeps fighting back. They eventually tie the game. They take the lead. Milwaukee then responds. You respond. Milwaukee responds. You respond. Milwaukee responds. You respond. It's just a constant back and forth affair. Constant back and forth. With a couple of blunders defensively by the Phillies, by Bryson Stott and Trey Turner, which probably made the game more stressful than it needed to be. But you got the last laugh in the top of the ninth inning, which allowed Duran to get the save against the bottom of the lineup for the Milwaukee Brewers. And that turned out to be a 10-8 win in a series that I said the Phillies probably would be lucky to get a win in this series against Milwaukee. And now you set yourself up for one of these last two games, which is on Wednesday and Thursday, because they have a stupid off day tomorrow, to get a series win against the Milwaukee Brewers. And what also helps with this win tonight is because the Mets won their game in Detroit. I believe that game was also like 10-8 or something like that. So crazy day in terms of the two teams fighting for the National League East. Crazy day. But the Phillies ended up with a win. Probably is a really good thing they have the off day tomorrow so they can rest a lot of the pitchers that they used. Probably is a good thing. Probably is a good thing. It's weird that they have an off day on a Tuesday, but probably is a good thing. It probably is a good thing. But where do I give credit for today's game? Where do I give major credit? Brandon Marsh and Harrison Bader. Those guys were very good. Harrison Bader with a couple of RBI doubles. He had, the bloop single in the top of the ninth inning to extend the lead by 2 runs. Brandon Marsh having 4 hits in today's game with multiple RBIs as well. So that was just a very fun, sense right there from those guys. Trey Turner, he had a 2 RBI triple. Bryce Harper, obviously, with the solo shot that did get the Phillies on the board. Did the Phillies get lucky with the JT Rebuto check swing in the top of the ninth inning? I would say yes and no, because you could argue both sides to me, and I would probably understand both sides if he swung or not. It just happened that that check swing went in the Phillies' favor. It was very close. It was very, very, very close. Bryson Stott also had a clutch hit that gave the Phillies, an extra run as well earlier in the ball game before the Brewers did eventually respond against David Robertson. And that was definitely a very unfortunate inning because David Robertson actually started off that inning very electric, striking out the first 2 batters. But then JT got a foul ball hit off right up the penis, and he was down for a little bit. And then Robertson proceeded to not throw strikes. He then eventually let the bases loaded, and then it was a grounder that was right to Trey Turner that he booted, went into the outfield, and of course the game got tied with 2 outs. But that definitely was unfortunate. Alvarado had to come into a situation where I believe it was Roberts on the mound, and then he got 2 outs, but he allowed one of the bottom of the lineup to get on. Then Alvarado came in to face the top of the lineup, and then also there was the chopper to Bryson Stott that Stott should have had, which would have ended the inning without the Brewers getting a tied game at that point. It was a weird game. It was a very, 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 very weird game. Insanely weird game. But you end up with the win. You end up with the win. Matt Strom was probably, and also Duran were probably least stressful innings, even though Matt Strahm did allow base runners. Matt Strahm got out of his inning unscathed. Duran was probably the only reliever to have the 1-2-3 inning. So you end up with the win. You end up with the win. It was a crazy win. It's a crazy win to also set the tone in the series. So good on you. Good on you. So let's go over this game. Why not? Taijuan Walker put up a classic Taijuan Walker performance. 4 innings, 7 hits, 5 earned runs, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts. It was Taijuan Walker. Couldn't throw strikes. Brewers were hitting around him, which made sense. Miza, he actually had a good inning as well. I wasn't able to tune into the game on time. I just had to keep up with the updates on MLB.com when I was able to tune into the game. I missed the Miza inning. He did strike out 1. He had a 1-2-3 inning from the looks of it, so he had a pretty good inning actually. But then Robert comes in, got a couple of guys out, but then allowed 1 hit. He gets charged with an unearned run because of Alvarado, because of the misplay by Bryson Stott. Brewers eventually tied the game there. Matt Strahm, he walked 1, allowed 1 hit, but he also struck out 2, got out of his inning. David Robertson struck out 2 very electrically to start off there, but then he allowed the 2 runs to score because of the misplay by Trey Turner, but he also did allow the bases to get loaded with 2 outs, which a pitcher should not be doing in that sequence. So there's blame to go on both sides there. And then Duran had a fairly quickly bottom of the 9th inning. He threw 6 pitches. All contact, but very soft contact, and managed to get out of the inning unscathed and had probably the easiest inning of any pitcher in today's game. Crazy stuff there. Very crazy stuff. So let's go through today's game. Let's go through it. So Harper, he had a 2-out single in the top of the first. Nothing happened there. Then you go to that bottom of the first inning. Turang hits a solo shot, puts the Brewers up 1-0. Then a couple of more base runners get on. Contreras with a double, Yelich with a walk, and then Perkins with a 2 RBI double to make it 3-0 Brewers right there. Durbin, he hits a leadoff shot in the bottom of the second inning to make it 4-0. Harper, then he gets his solo shot to make it 4-1 Brewers in the top of the fourth. Bryce Harper actually crushed this ball off Mizorowski. It was like 101 down the middle of the plate, and Bryce just crushed it out of the ballpark. So good on Bryce there. Then bottom of the fourth, the Brewers responded. Chirio hit a sacrifice fly to make it 5-1 against Taijuan Walker. That would be his final inning. Then you go to the top of the fifth. Kepler with a leadoff walk. Sosa with a single. Stott grounds into a fielder's choice, which gets Sosa out at second base. Kepler moves over the third in the process. Then Trey Turner, first pitch swinging, get the triple down the right field line, scores 2 runs. Suddenly it's a 5-3 ball game. Things are getting interesting. Trey Turner on third base, with Schwarber and Harper up. They're not able to bring him home, but it's still a 5-3 game. Miza had a 1-2-3 bottom of the fifth. Then you go to this top of the sixth inning. JT leads off, getting hit by a pitch where he was actually down 0-2 in the count, worked it back to 2-2, fouled a ball off, then got hit by a pitch. Marsh then with a single. Moves JT over the third. Bader then crushes a double into the gap, gives the Phillies a 5-4 deficit. Well, the Brewers a 5-4 lead. Kepler then hits a sacrifice fly, becomes a 5-5 ball game. Marsh went over the third on the Bader double. Then Sosa hits a sacrifice fly that scores Bader. Becomes a 6-5 ball game for the Phillies. They have the lead. Bottom of the sixth, Brewers do respond. Robert on the mound, gets Frelick the ground out, walks Durbin, gets Ortiz the line out. Then Alvarado comes in, walks Turang in a very long at bat. It was 11 pitches, a lot of foul balls, ends up walking him. Durbin then scores on the error by Bryson Stott, which would have ended the inning if he made the play, but then eventually Contreras flies out to end the inning tied at 6. Top of the 7th inning, Turner reaches in on an infield single. Nothing happens there after he steals second base. Matt Strahm gets the first 2 outs with strikeouts, then Perkins walks. Frelick with a single. That gets Durbin to fly out to end the inning at 6-6 still. Top of the 8th inning, Marsh with a leadoff single. Bader with another deep double that scores Brandon Marsh. He got a great read off of this, gives the Phillies a 7-6 lead. Then this was Shelby Miller on the mound actually for the Brewers. And in the middle of the Kepler at bat, he leaves the game with an injury. I'm not sure if it was arm related or back related, but he instantly went off the field. And Kepler, with the relief pitcher coming into the ball game, worked the walk. Sosa then first pitch grounded into a double play, but then Bryson Stott, following his error, he makes up for it with a double down the line that gives the Phillies a 2-run lead. It's 8-6. But then you go to that bottom of the 8th. Robertson starts off by striking out Ortiz and Turang, but then he walks Churio after going up 1-2 in the count. That's the at bat where JT got a foul ball off the nuts. Contreras then singles, Yelich then walks. Then Collins comes into the ball game. First pitch swinging, error by it should have been an error by Trey Turner, misplay, and the ball game is tied there. Then he gets Perkins to fly out to end the inning at a tied ball game. Then you get to that top of the ninth. Schwarber with a walk. Harper then strikes out. JT then works a walk, which you want to say if it's controversial or not with the check swing. So he gets on. They pinch run Kyle Schwarber for Garrett Stubbs. So Garrett Stubbs has a use. Then Brandon Marsh up at bat, singles through the hole. Stubbs scores, gives the Phillies the lead. JT moves over the third in the process. Bader, first pitch swinging, bloops a pitch or bloops a hit in between the second baseman and the right fielder, drops down there. JT scores in the process. Marsh got a little bit too aggressive on the base paths, tried to go to third base, he got thrown out. Phillies did challenge it. It looked close, but it wasn't close enough to overturn. It was one of those situations where there wasn't enough evidence, but it was like a you have enough of a lose type of challenge. It was one of those type of things, but still, it's a 10-8 Phillies lead. Kepler then flies out. Then you bring in Duran to close the game, and he gets a 1-2 through inning, and there you go. Phillies win the game 10-8. Lineup today, Trey Turner went 2 for 5 with 2 RBIs with the RBI triple. Kyle Schwarber, he went 0 for 4 with a walk and 3 strikeouts. Garrett Stubbs pinch ran. He got the run scored there in the top of the ninth. Bryce Harper went 2 for 5 with a solo shot. JT Realmuto, he went 0 for 3 with a walk and a hit by pitch. Brandon Marsh, fantastic day at the plate. He went 4 for 5 with an RBI. Harrison Bader, 3 for 5 with 3 RBIs. So look at Bader and Brandon Marsh. They went a combined 7 for 10 with 4 RBIs and 4 runs scored. So a great day for those two combined. Max Kepler, he had a solid day at the plate, a sac fly, 0 for 2. We also had 2 walks in there. Edmundo Sosa went 1 for 3 with a sacrifice fly. And then Bryson Stott, he went 2 for 4 with a run as well, or with an RBI. Phillies went 5 for 11 with runners in scoring position, so that's where the game was won. The Brewers, they went 2 for 9 with runners in scoring position, so the Brewers got more help by the Phillies defense than not in today's game. But Phillies found a way to win. That's the most important thing. And you do stay up 6 games on the New York Mets for first place in the National League East, which is a very good thing there. Very, 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 very good win. I would say it's a very good win for the Phillies. It was a game where I was expecting them to lose just because of all the nonsense and also because of themselves. With the travel, the Phillies don't make sense. I expected them to lose this game. It shocked me. They definitely shocked me. Definitely shocked me. But this game also does prove to me one thing, and Julian says it perfectly. Harrison Bader does have to play every day. Harrison Bader from this point on has to play every day. Honest to God, it's him and Marsh. Bader's the center fielder, Marsh is the left fielder. And then you just platoon Castellanos and Kepler. That's what it should be. That's what it should be. Because at least those two, you have some type of chance offensively. With Kepler and Castellanos, it's a coin flip. More times Kepler has been more productive than Castellanos, honest to God. So, realistically, those two should be the platoon, not Bader and Marsh. So that's what I would do. Bader starts every day in center. Marsh starts every day in left, and then you just platoon Kepler and Castellanos in right. I think that should be the case. I think that's what should be the factor there, in my personal opinion. But hey, you got the win. You're now 28 games above 500, where it also helps you in terms of catching up with the Brewers in terms for, seeding in the National League. Because if you're looking at the National League right now, you're 5.5 back of the Milwaukee, or 4.5 back at the Milwaukee Brewers for the first spot in the National League, for the first bye. Right now, you do have a 1.5 games over the Los Angeles Dodgers for the second bye. The Dodgers right now, apparently the Cubs have a better record than the Dodgers do right now, so there are definitely some things that could help the Phillies out, because I did remember hearing on Fightin' Words earlier today, if you don't listen to that with Anthony Sanfilippo and Bob Wankel, the San Francisco Giants have actually been playing very good baseball lately, and they have 2 series with the Los Angeles Dodgers coming up this month at some point. It could be a 3-game and a 4-game series, if I'm not mistaken. If San Francisco remains hot and Los Angeles remains as inconsistent as they are, that can really help the Phillies. That can really help the Phillies. Now, granted, the Phillies also play the Dodgers later in the month as well, so they can also help themselves out there. But it also doesn't help for other teams to help you out as well. So maybe the San Francisco Giants can throw the Phillies a bone and help the Phillies out with the Dodgers. Now, it doesn't give the Phillies off the hook. They got to win their games. But like I said, it doesn't help if you get some help from other teams. The Giants, they're 8-2 in their last 10 games. So actually, let me actually look at those schedules just to see where everything plays out, because the Dodgers just lost a series to the Diamondbacks. They almost got swept if it wasn't for a Will Smith walk-off home run. Yes, so this is the stretch for the Dodgers right here. So they play Pittsburgh next in Pittsburgh. And for some reason, the Pittsburgh Pirates play way better in their own ballpark, so who knows what that series is going to turn out to be. Then they play Baltimore on the road. They're home against Colorado. Then this is the stretch that they go on. San Francisco, Philadelphia. Well, 3 games on the road against San Francisco. 3 games against Philadelphia, obviously. 4 games against San Francisco at home. Then they go on the road for their last 2 series of the year against Arizona and Seattle. That's a very brutal stretch to end the season, if I'm not going to say so myself. That's a pretty brutal stretch. That's a pretty brutal stretch for the Dodgers. So the Phillies can only help themselves out, but it also, like I said, like I keep saying, it doesn't hurt to get help from other teams. I keep scrambling up my words. I apologize. Like I said, I'm very tired. I am very tired. I wasn't going to do it, but like with the craziness of today's game, I wasn't not going to do the recap. So you guys got lucky with me today. You guys got lucky. Guys got lucky. But I'm just like, it also like joking, like why can't the Phillies do with this against the Mets? Why can't they have this type of fight back against the Mets? It's just like, why? Because if you had this type of fight back against the Mets, I mean, 1-2 games in that series, we wouldn't be worrying at this rate. It's crazy. It's crazy. And then the Mets winning 10-8 in today's game, like Sean Manaea was not good. I believe Manaea was the one pitching for them today. And it was Troy Morton for the Tigers. Yeah, Sean Manaea was not good. He allowed 5 earned runs. 5 earned runs. And then the bullpen did not help for the Tigers either. Bullpen did not help out for the Tigers either. But what's the rest of this series? What's the rest of this series look like? Let's see. McLean pitches tomorrow against Gibson Long, and then Clay Holmes on Wednesday against Casey Mize. So they're not going to be facing against why can't I think of his name? Why can't I think of his name? Why can't I think of his name? Skubal. They're not facing Skubal at all. When did Skubal? Okay, Skubal pitched against the Kansas City Royals right before the Mets series, so that doesn't help. What's Gibson? Okay, so they're throwing a relief pitcher on the mound, Joy. So the Phillies might not be getting help from for the Tigers. And then Casey Mize, he's 12-5 at a 3.95 ERA. It's not terrible, but can't put the faith in the Tigers right now because of their pitching. Without Skubal, can't trust them personally. I know the Tigers' offense is solid, but I know the Mets pitching can blow up at any point. But it's just like, my God, crazy. And also, Juan Soto carried the Mets today with a grand slam, and I believe he had a triple. So he had like a lot of RBIs in today's game, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Can I not? There we go. Freaking ESPN. Yeah, he had 6 RBIs in today's game. That's not going to happen again. So it is what it is. You won, so the Mets win does not matter. The Mets win does not matter in that facet. Does not matter. So yeah. Good win. Good win by the Phils. That's what matters. That's what matters. Maybe Garrett Stubbs is the spark plug. Very maybe Garrett Stubbs is the spark plug. Maybe the vibes do work. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just trying to find somewhere to poke the fun in that. So, if we do look at the rest of the series, I believe Aaron Nola pitches on Wednesday. Aaron Nola does pitch on Wednesday. He is going up against Jose Quintana, who the Phillies notoriously do not hit. Who they do not hit. The Phillies see Quintana this year? I think they did. Yeah, he went 5 innings, allowed 2 earned runs against them in that series sweep against Philadelphia. He does have a 4 ERA in this month of August. His last start was 3 2/3 against Arizona. He allowed 6 earned runs, 4 walks as well. So maybe there's where he's just in a bad stretch. He had a 4+ ERA in July, and he has a 4+ ERA in August. So I'll just see. And So basically, his best month of the season was April. He sucked in May for 2 starts. I'm assuming he got injured or he got sent down. And then he wasn't good in June besides the one Phillies start. Actually, 2 of those starts are inflated. 1 earned run, 0 earned runs, 2 earned runs, then a 5 and a 4 earned run game. He wasn't good in July, and he hasn't been good in August. So I don't know. But like I said, for some reason the Phillies do not hit Jose Quintana lately. I don't know why. That's just the case. Like I said, the Phillies don't make sense. And then it's Ranger Suarez on Thursday afternoon against Freddie Peralta, who has been dominant in August. He had like a .39 ERA. So if you want to win a game, you probably got to win on Wednesday. So that means you got to rely on Aaron Nola, which I don't know if I have that faith right now with Nola. And I'm a Nolasman. Nola's got to pitch the game of his life on Wednesday. And that's stretching the truth right there. But I just need a very good version of Aaron Nola on Wednesday. I definitely do. I definitely need a good version of Aaron Nola. So, yeah. That's where it is. What else? What else is there? I think overall, I think a lot of people can agree that's just a good win. That is just a very good win. Very good win by the Phillies. I think we can all agree on that. It wasn't necessarily the best played game, but you definitely were opportunistic and you definitely were battling. So, you earned the win. I guess you could say you earned the win against a very good Milwaukee Brewers team. So, that's the most important part there. Let's get to some of you guys in the chat here because I don't think there's much else on the Twitterverse, and there's nothing in the voicemail line. So, let's get to you guys in the chat right here. Austin, how you doing? I guess you got a spark of life as well, thanks to Elk. Yeah, like I said, if this game was more of a dud, I wasn't going to recap it, but the way the game turned out, I had to. Like, I had to, tired or not. That's basically what the case was. I guess the Phillies removed that tiredness. Yes, they basically did. They basically did. Master Bader and Marshy were outstanding. They came up big. Oh, yeah, those guys were great today. Now, with the weird rest day tomorrow, there is a good, if not great, chance that Duran is available again later in the series. Oh, yeah. Duran would be available for the final 2 games. So, in the essence, the off day does help, but it's still very weird nonetheless that they have an off day on a Tuesday. It's very weird scheduling. Stott had a clutch hit, which made up for that error. Yep. Todd, how you doing? Bader is a clutch hitter. Oh, yeah. Should Bader be the everyday center? Oh, yes. Bader should be the everyday center fielder. 100%. Like I said, Bader center field every day. Marsh left field every day. I don't care if it's against the lefty or not. And then Kepler, Castellanos in right field. That's the platoon. That's what I would do. This was an automatic loss in everybody's book. Yeah, pretty much. So I'd give them more credit for that. Nick against lefties, Kepler. Oh, yes, that's what it should be the case. Did I watch Clash in Paris? Yes, I watched Clash in Paris this morning, and then I followed that up with Monday Night Raw. So I watched it back to back. What I think about it? I think it was a solid pay-per-view. I wouldn't say it was anything spectacular. The Roman Bronson Reed fight with the chaos at the end was entertaining there. Nikki Bella versus Becky Lynch was not good. I'll say that wasn't a good fight. It just kind of looked like those two did not have chemistry in the ring. The tag team fight, I guess you could say it's a little bit forgettable there. It's not bad by any means. I just think it's forgettable. John Cena versus Logan Paul was very good. That was a very good fight. The Fatal 4-Way definitely had an unexpected ending. I did not expect Becky Lynch to be involved. So I guess Becky Lynch is the 4th person of Seth's group. So there was a 4th man. It just happened to be the man, Becky Lynch. So that was definitely shocking. Becky and CM Punk's back and forth on Raw today was actually pretty entertaining. I wonder how Punk's going to handle Becky now, since that's another hurdle he has to get over for Seth Rollins. Because, Becky slapped him up a little bit in the ring. Obviously, Punk wasn't going to hit her. So he just basically said that, I'm going to make Seth's life a living nightmare, and I'm going to make you regret it. And I wonder what Punk will have up his sleeve. The crowd kept chanting AJ Lee, which that would be very fun to bring back AJ Lee. I just don't know if she's going to come back just because of the injuries and all that stuff with her. Like, I know she's CM Punk's wife and all that stuff, so that would definitely make a very fun dynamic with the husband and wives going after each other. But it also kind of does make sense just because WrestlePalooza's in a few weeks now, and they definitely would want a big like boom for the start of the ESPN era. It kind of makes too much sense, but I'm just like, I was talking with my buddy. He would say, nah, it's probably gonna be Bailey or something like that, since Bailey's going through the character change again. But I'm just like, but Punk and Bailey, they don't interact with each other. It kind of doesn't make sense. And it looks like they're doing this whole thing with Lyra and Bailey now. So I don't know what's going on there. And Becky just keeps going after new people every time. So is she going to continue this feud with Nikki Bella, or is it going to go into someone else now to where they get a shot for the Intercontinental title? So I don't know. I really don't know. Um, I really wonder if it's AJ Lee. I really do wonder if it's AJ Lee. That would definitely be pretty entertaining if that was the case. But I'll give a lot of credit. The John Cena Logan Paul fight definitely stole the show. That was the best fight, probably, or the best match of the entire night. That was definitely the best. Logan definitely went full out. John went full out. The crowd was amazing for that fight, and it definitely went full throttle. Like, that's the thing. Logan Paul is a great in-ring talent. I just don't like him. I think that's basically just the probably the thing about everybody. He is great in the ring. He is a great performer. I don't like the person. And maybe that fits his character very well, but they definitely put out a good fight there. And I kind of hope they don't go the full constant route of Cena losing now after this, every match, because I don't know what to expect against him and Brock Lesnar, because it's weird that they haven't interacted since SummerSlam, but I think Brock is scheduled for a couple of SmackDowns before WrestlePalooza. So we'll see where that goes. We'll see. So the Phillies and the Mets end up winning with 10-8 wins. Yes. Yes, yes. What an insane win by the Phillies. We badly needed a win like this. Of course, yes, we did. The Phillies turned that day from what should have been a blowout loss for them into a crazy comeback win. Exactly. Stubby's playlist in the clubhouse will get the morale up. Have to win Wednesday yet because of Peralta. I worry about the middle of the bullpen. Banks is clearly number 2 best bullpen piece. It's definitely understandable. Definitely. Have I seen John Boy's proposal for a new MLB scheduling realignment on his YouTube channel? It's a great half-hour video. I enjoyed the watch. Maybe you and Brodes can make your own versions. I have not watched it. Maybe I will. Thanks for the recommendation. Yeah, there were way too many botches in the Becky Lynch fight. Way too many botches. More on, but no, there was one spot where Nikki was like shoving Becky's, like slamming Becky into the table, into the desk, and you could clearly tell like Becky was just not hitting it. Like she was like, you could tell like, hands first were hitting the desk. Like she really wasn't selling it that well whatsoever. Yeah, that was not good. That fight was not good. Everyday Phillies. Thank you. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. You're welcome for the shows. You're definitely welcome. You're definitely welcome. But yeah. So I don't know. It was a good win by the Phillies today. Of course, I went back into WWE talk, but it was a good win by the Phillies today. It definitely was. So we'll see where it goes. Tomorrow is the weird off day, and we're still a couple of days away from opening kickoff for the Eagles. So we'll see where that goes. Yeah, there was where Becky was on the top rope and missed Becky. I feel like Becky wasn't in the right spot. I feel like she was supposed to dodge, but she wasn't in the right spot for the placement. I think that was like very bad. I think Becky was in the wrong place at the wrong time for that dodge. I think she was supposed to dodge, but wrong placement. That match overall was just not good. Those two just didn't show they didn't have chemistry in the ring. They just did not have chemistry. That was kind of more rushed, I guess you could say, a more rushed feud there. But we'll see where it goes. I really don't know, because I guess now Becky's involved with the whole Seth thing now and Punk. So it really just like, what's Punk going to do to get back at Becky? Is it AJ Lee? Is it just as simple as they're going to bring AJ Lee back? That would be very fun, but I really don't know what they're going to do. Because they're just in a weird spot right now. Because, and then for like the women's division, like the Raw women's division is very good. It's very good. And of course, now Steph and Io Sky are going to be the world title shot at WrestlePalooza, which they just threw together. So I guess, which I kind of wish they did it differently to where two people would fight for the chance to fight Steph, because Steph still has that title shot guarantee because she won the Battle Royale at Evolution. I kind of wish they made somebody fight in order to earn that spot. So I guess, was it the right call? I'm not entirely sure. Even though I think Steph's going to win it. I don't think Io was going to. I don't think Io's going to win it. I feel like Asuka has something up her sleeve with that. I feel. But then it kind of felt like they're like going back on the heel turn, but she's still like acting very weird and like very protective of Io. So I don't know if it's like a weird heel thing that's eventually going to happen with Asuka. Maybe Asuka does screw over Io. Maybe she just gets more pissed in all with her interactions with Rhea. I have no idea. I think Steph gets the title. He could use Roxanne because he was her mentor. Maybe, but she's still like locked up with this whole Judgment Day stuff, and it looks like she's gonna be fighting Lyra Valkyria next week. So I'm not sure how that works. It's weird. Yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen either. It's really like the gut feel. Like my friend said, like he thinks it's gonna be Bailey because of the whole character change, but it just doesn't make sense. It really just doesn't. Even though it makes sense for Becky and Bailey to go after each other. Why does Punk get involved with that? You know what I mean? Like what interactions does Punk have with Bailey to make that anything? It feels like right now Lyra and Bailey are still a thing. What they're working towards. Maybe Becky does go after the Intercontinental title again. I have no idea. They really need to shake up something with some of these women and move them over to SmackDown to go after Tiffy, because there's too many good women wrestlers on the Raw roster, and there's not enough women wrestlers on the SmackDown's roster, and they need somebody else to go after Tiffy besides Jade. They really need somebody else, because I do not want to watch Jade and Tiffy fight again. Because it's just not, they're not, like, Jade's not ready, and Tiffy has nobody else to go up against her. Like, what, are you just going to do Nia Jax again? It sucks that Bianca's still hurt, because Bianca probably would have gone after it, but I don't know. Yeah, Sammy winning the U.S. belt too. I feel like Sammy winning the U.S. title is going to be short-lived to where they can move him up eventually. I have the weird feeling that Sammy's going to win the Royal Rumble in Saudi. I really feel like that's going to be the case. I think Sammy's going to win the belt, win the Royal Rumble at Saudi. He's going to go after Cody at WrestleMania. I think Cody's still going to hold on to the belt till WrestleMania, unless it changes. But I just right now don't see Cody losing that belt. Unless Drew does win it, but I don't see Cody losing it. Cody hangs on until WrestleMania. The fucking Sammy wins the Royal Rumble. He goes after Cody, and then the Elimination Chamber is all the people that are involved with Seth. Whether it's Punk, whether it's LA Knight, Jey Uso, Roman probably gets involved or something like that. Then a fifth person, whoever else gets involved with this whole thing with a Seth. Maybe Seth sends one of his guys in there. Maybe he sends Braun Breaker in there. Maybe that's, even though that's a big risk, he would have to fight Braun if Braun were to win. But my one friend said that it would be El Grande Americano, just because why not? That would be very funny. I wouldn't know who wins Elimination Chamber. I know that's still way far. They still got to do Survivor Series and all that. Like, that storyline's just gonna go throughout WrestleMania. It just, I feel like that's the case. I just don't know. I have no other idea where they're going. I just don't. But yeah, it's crazy. It's definitely crazy. I don't know where else they go from there. But it definitely was an entertaining PLE. We just got to see where they go. Raw definitely was more Raw was like meh. There were some good fights. The AJ Styles versus Dom was entertaining, but I was just like, come on, give AJ the title. Give AJ the belt. Why do you have to do this whole back and forth with Dom and El Grande? Like, give AJ Styles the belt. He deserves the belt. And especially with the pop that he was getting in France, he definitely deserved the belt. I would like to see, unless this is like the end of now the AJ feud with Dominic, and now eventually AJ goes after John Cena, which wouldn't make sense right now just because John and Brock are going to go after it. Because it was weird too, because John Cena used AJ's finisher against Logan Paul, which was funny. I don't know. I got so many things in my mind. I got too many things in my mind that I'm going to go on a whole tangent here that I don't want to do. I don't want to waste your guys' time. Like I said, I need one like good stream of just talking about wrestling right here. Maybe that could be tomorrow. Maybe that could be tomorrow. I'm not entirely sure. We'll have to wait and see how it goes. But that will do it for tonight, everybody. I appreciate y'all for tuning in last minute because I wasn't planning to do this stream, but the Phillies game was the Phillies game and it was crazy. So appreciate y'all. Don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section down below. Don't forget to drop a like. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to use the code TTPSPORTS, $20 off your first purchase at SeatGeek. Great deal. Don't pass it up. Good win by the Phillies. Good win. Weird off day tomorrow. Hopefully they can win this series. And if I do something tomorrow, you'll see it in